Hi, everyone. I'm Steve. I'm here with Dr. Nario. Dr. Nario is at Biointegrative Health Center in Reno, Nevada. You can check them out online and see all the different treatments that they do, IV drips, and pretty cool treatments. They also, I know you work a lot with athletes too, right?
Definitely. They're always in and out of this clinic.
Yeah, getting different treatments. So check them out online and see what they do. We're going to talk about grape seed extract. It's something that I've taken a lot. I'm not taking it now because I was just telling the doc before we turn this on, you can't take everything, right? Um, so many supplements out there, but it's one that I have taken a lot of in the past for a long time. So tell us about grape seed extract.
Well, Steve, most gym goers obsess over protein and creatine, but there's quite a powerhouse in the supplement world that supports recovery, cardiovascular health, and inflammation control. And this is grape seed extract. If you care about performance, blood flow, and joint resilience, this is one definitely worth knowing. The thing here is, grape seed extract comes from tiny seeds inside red grapes. It's loaded with polyphenols, especially, so this is an underlying emphasis, oligomeric proanthocyanidins. This is OPCs in short. So let's stick with OPCs so everybody could remember. These are powerful antioxidants. These compounds are 50 to 50 times more potent than vitamin C or vitamin E when it comes to free radical neutralizations. So that's why OPCs are not only found, unfortunately, in grapeseed extracts, but grapeseed extract is one of the richest and most concentrated natural sources of it. And these can be found in berries, pine bark, red wine. And the one that can only keep to par in terms of the level of the OPCs with it would be pycnogenol, which is another supplement. But grapeseed extract gives you the highest bang for your buck. It's standardized, affordable, and super rich in compounds that protect your blood vessels, joints, and even mitochondria.
That's why I was taking it a couple years ago, was for blood pressure. And why I don't take it now is because I don't want my blood pressure to go too low.
Right, that's correct. So that's another discussion that we'll have when we actually go into it a little deeper. That blood pressure is one of the things that gets, I guess, the most benefit from it in accordance to medical studies. But this is something that we'll kind of phrase into our athletes so they would understand how to use it.
That's because of the nitric oxide, right? You mentioned
That is correct.
beet powder, which is popular for citrulline, is also popular. And these are popular pre-workout supplements. And you could throw grapeseed in there, right?
That is right. The unfortunate thing here is when I guess, the masses are using these arginine, citrulline amino acids. They're actually, number one, like nitric oxide supplements that are out there are expensive, a little bit pricier. But you have to remember, many people cannot convert citrulline and arginine properly to nitric oxide anymore because as we get older, there's an enzyme called nitric oxide synthase that is actually declining. So if you don't have that enzyme, and if you take these proteins, it will stay in your system and it will become inflammatory, unfortunately.
Yeah. And that's the big thing. The nitric oxide is what these athletes are after. Bodybuilders and people in the gym are after that too, because they lift weights and they get a pump that gets blood to their muscles. And I guess grapeseed extract does that.
That is correct. The thing with grapeseed extract though is why it's the preferred OPC, or again oligomeric proanthocyanidin source, is because often 90% OPCs is the standardized extract from grapeseed extract. So that's very high if you think about it. And again, the high bioavailability, and that's why we recommend it to be taken with food, because that's when you maximize the absorption of these OPCs. And as I mentioned to you, it's cost effective. It's cheaper than the common supplements that you would hear that has high OPCs also, like resveratrol, pycnogenol, and very safe. And in terms of side effects, the most common one that I have seen and encountered would be just gastrointestinal. But other than that, very safe for everyone.
Hmm. It does a lot of things. Is there any other reason why people would take it?
Yeah, so when I talk about our athletes here, this actually has been proven in medical studies that it reduces muscle inflammation post workout. And who doesn't need that, right? When you're really hard on the workouts, and it has this lowering down of oxidative stress after intense training, and it may help even speed recovery and even reduce soreness. It's also useful for like deload weeks, as we hear, endurance athletes and overtraining protection. When you mentioned about nitric oxide, it increases the blood flow and the pumps, and it enhances nitric oxide bioavailability, helping with vasodilation and thus supporting the nutrient delivery and even blood pressure control of these athletes that are working hard, enhancing the pumps. And of course, when you stack it also with the L-arginine and the citrulline. And not only that, it also supports collagen and joint health. So every time we lift heavy, right, we're worried about that in weightlifters, CrossFitters. And this is, again, protection from collagen breakdown in joints. And some side stuff that GSE, as we call it, has metabolic support, improves insulin in relation to post-meal glucose spikes, and also cutting phases for clients with metabolic issues. And here's one special feature: it crosses the blood-brain barrier. And that's why now newer studies are coming out on how it can improve cognitive function, memory, and even the retina in relation to high stress in athletes or even aging.
So this does a lot more than just your average nitric oxide precursor like arginine, citrulline, or beet juice or beet powder.
That is correct. It's just that's why it's just, again, I am telling you, in this business that I mean, in this field that I'm in, these vasodilator, the natural ones, because there's one that actually was based from, oh, most of them are beet based, right? They're always what pricing in the what 90, $80 range. With grapeseed extract, man, you're not even going to be close to that. And you get the other benefits as well. So that's why it's just really for when you're an athlete, you have creatine, you have amino acids, you have whey protein. So you have all of these things. And how much money can you really spend unless you're Elon Musk, right? So yeah, again, sometimes we need to save up. We need to just get our bang for a buck, and this is one of them.
Do you think Elon Musk uses grapeseed extract?
Maybe he's like putting it in his Teslas. I don't know. But hopefully he gets on. Well, RFK is going to get on his case, but I'm sure he's going to get the message soon.
Okay, so this, I mean, obviously, this is why this is good for your heart, your blood pressure, and everything because of the oxygen flowing that this does. So, what else should we know about grapeseed extract?
Right. So as you mentioned, Steve, with grapeseed extract, it helps a lot. It's number one supported reason in the medical, I guess, world is for, and with the heavy studies to back it up, would be blood pressure. So blood pressure lowers down at least for systolic 5 millimeter mercury and the diastolic around 3. So if you're thinking about it, like, yeah, that's still a little low, but if you're really having bad issues with your blood pressure and you're taking a lot of these medications, hey, this is something that you can add into that stack and also now help with the medication. So you're not going to get higher doses of your prescriptions to lower down the side effects of these drugs. And the thing there is, this is actually the original reason why grapeseed extract was discovered. And now it's just trickled down to like now, oh, it's helping athletes. It's actually even lowering down cholesterol. So, but this is how the beginning of grapeseed extract came to be in the integrative space.
And the extract is a more condensed form, right?
Right, and that's a good point you brought up. It's not grapeseed oil, right?
It's
Grapeseed
not
oil is
good.
different. Yeah, versus it's really the extract that you want to find because it does not contain the OPCs that I just mentioned. So this one is where I guess it makes a difference. So make sure you look at the labels and you get the right one.
Yeah, grapeseed oil is a seed oil,
Mm-hmm.
Burns hot, but I wouldn't eat it. Um, so the grape seed extract, I take it in a capsule. That's the easiest way, right? I've
It
known to
is.
do it in just a powder, but it comes in a capsule form.
That is right. That is correct. And again, there might be other forms out there, liquid, capsule, but athletes prefer when they're on the go, just chug it down, go ahead with your day and go work out again.
Is there a specific dose that you recommend for certain people if they're looking for certain things like athletic performance or blood pressure? Do you give them a dosage?
So usually the dosing lands in the 150 to 300 milligrams per day. It really is dependent on what you're trying to achieve. Again, with it's dose dependent. So when I say dose dependent, the effects, for example, on your blood pressure, the things that you could actually see. So the higher the dose, the stronger the effect that you will get. So again, I always want to tell patients to go low and slow. You always want to start slow on these things, but I'm sure the athletes they're pretty tough like you, and but always, regardless of whatever state you are in, go low and slow. And as I mentioned, best taken with food, and you always have to, that's a very important thing because that's when you really get the OPCs absorbed faster. And with when I say again in terms of long-term use, the ones who are on blood thinner surgery, preparing for surgery, should always check with your doctor about this. This is one thing that you always kind of want your doctors to make sure they know if you're taking a supplement. So during that first visit with them, just because they definitely want to make sure that, all right, we're not going to do anything to you. You're on this medication. Would you have an interaction with it? So we're always there to help you out, just to help you out.
Okay, so if you're taking it for performance workouts, a good time to take it is before you train, right?
Well, actually, the studies have shown that it's either before or after, but yeah. So it depends on what your goal would be. If you want to enhance workouts, definitely you do it before. If you actually want faster recovery, so that blood flow can go into these damaged muscles, then you do that. So again, when you talk about people who get sore after workouts, I would suggest, all right, you do it afterwards so that recovery is faster. Or if you're the one that, yeah, I kind of like, I'm a little short in my minutes or my hours in doing my workouts, I get tired easy. All right, do it before. So it really depends on the case.
Or you could cut it in half and do some before and some after, right?
Hey, yeah, see, your creative mind's running around again.
Okay,
That's awesome.
so what if you, does it matter when you take it if you're taking it for your blood pressure? Or is there a preferred time? You take it with food, you take it at night. I mean, is there a best time to take it if that's your reason for taking it?
So for blood pressure, the one that I always would recommend is to take it. So the most active that you are would be actually is during the daytime, right? So that's when blood pressures go up because that's when you're busy, adrenaline kicks in, and even cortisol kicks in. So that's something that I always like to emphasize. You have to remember, this is not something to replace your real blood pressure medicine. So most of these people who are already thinking to use it for blood pressure has an actual prescription medicine. So most of these medications are given at night so that it can have actually a good maintained, sustained effect. So that's why I kind of put my recommendations for GSC in the mornings. I mean, sure, if you just want to do preventative, you can also do it at night or even during the daytime. But again, daytime, that's when the pressures always kind of go up.
Yeah. And of course, you got to talk to your doctor because this could drop it too low.
It could be, especially when they're on a
Right.
prescription
Right.
medicine, they can be synergistic. Right. That
Right.
is right.
Okay. So, Dr. Nario, any last thoughts before we go?
Yeah. So this actually, in relation to, since you mentioned about cholesterol, it's also one of the functions that it reduces the oxidation of bad cholesterol, and protecting the arteries. So that's why it's essential for people who has, I mean, this is a blood test that you could do, meaning oxidized LDL is the mutated form of LDL, making it more dangerous to destroy, of course, these arteries that we have. So that's another function, as I mentioned to you, lowering down cholesterol. And again, as I guess maybe for my message for you, if you want to train harder, recover faster, and protect your joints and blood vessels, GSC is a low-cost, high-benefit tool. It won't replace your whey or creatine, but it might make both work better.
So there you go, everybody. Grape seed extract seems to do something good for about everything. So, Dr. Nario, as always, thank you for being here and thank you for your knowledge and just sharing it with us. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Well, Steve, thank you so much again for the invite. And again, we all know that knowledge is power, and we're always here to provide you with the edge in longevity and health maintenance, which I always call the biological edge or the bio edge.